What's up, everybody? It's Broken Bones here, and welcome to Broken's Bedrock Tutorials. This is part 2 of the Superior Industrial District, so I'm going to go ahead and play the previous clip so you guys can pick up right where you left off. Once you have all 3 of these done, that would be this other part of your farm all done and dusted. You literally have half your farm done now. All we need to do is the other 2 waterways. And I keep calling all this a farm, but it's literally your entire industrial district. And now that we've gone through this twice, we're going to go through it really fast. We're going to go step by step. So make sure to go ahead and run your waterways all the way out to the furthest chunk in that area. So make sure to do that on all 3 waterways. Come back to the intersection and start with your return station, which is on the right. Go ahead and open the glass. Put down a button if there's not one already. Go ahead and break that glass and put water going in this direction right there on the other side of the button. Go ahead and open up this glass and go ahead and put in yourself some ice with a button right there. That'll go ahead and cut that off. Bring your glass all the way back and that'll be your return station all done. Once you have that done, you need to go ahead and get this waterway to work. And if this water isn't going down past here, see how we have a button? The water is not going to drain down this direction, so you need to fix that before you get started. So here we're going to go ahead and place ourselves a button. We're going to break that one out, we're going to break that one out, and we're going to put ourselves a water source there. So we need to break this one out here, go ahead and get rid of that water and move it over to here, so it's still flowing in that direction. Now we need to have ourselves all the redstone go in, so go ahead and put that all in. Once you get your redstone in, once you cut over here, we need to go ahead and come on over to this one. The redstone torch is right here on this block. We need to get our redstone going into that block, so we're going to go ahead and place ourselves in a bit of glass right there and a bit of glass right there. That's going to go ahead and bring this redstone up and over just like so, right into that. That should be good now. So let's go ahead and test our circuit here. If we go ahead and grab ourselves a redstone block, we test this out, we should see that our water flows in this direction just like that, and that everything is going in just fine. That should go all the way down to the end. If you want to use a piston, you can, but there's really nowhere to use a piston right here except for maybe like you really need it at the end, but you could use it right here if you really wanted to. And that'll go ahead and make sure that you have your redstone going all the way across, which you do because it's going to reach this anyway. But anyway, once you've tested that side, go ahead and break that. You should see that the water stops now. Then if you go onto this side, you should see that the water flows down this direction. And again, your redstone goes all the way across. Once you have that done, go ahead and come over here to the back side of this block, place yourself down a button, and put some water going down in that direction. Where it ends, grab yourself another button, and do that again and again all the way to the end. And everywhere that you have a button on this side, go ahead and place a button on this side, and put water flowing in the opposite direction. Then when you get done with your water, next you need to go ahead and come over here with your glass. Go ahead and top all of your water with glass just like this. And remember right here to bring your redstone up and over and run it alongside all the way down just like that. And cover both your water streams with glass all the way down. Remember to run this redstone line all the way down to the back, all the way to the end of your water stream. And then once you have that done, just keep on moving to the next one and then move to the next one. You need to just duplicate that whole process over and over again for all of those and all of these. Once you have that complete, all 4 sides of your industrial district should have this wing with waterways going through it just like this. And once you have that done, next we need to go ahead and show you guys how to hook up a farm to it. Obviously, you're going to have farms up here like this, and you need to have your shulker boxes interacting with the water stream. Now, where you decide to tap into this water stream is completely up to you. It's completely subjective to where it's convenient for you to do it based on where your farm has the outlets and inlets for the shulker boxes of bone meal. So nonetheless, say if we wanted to have our outlet right here, all we'd have to do for the return station, which is the empty shulker boxes, is literally just go ahead and build ourselves a glass chute going up to the farm just like this. The shulker box will go ahead and fall down the glass chute, land right in the stream, and go all the way back to the farm. That's not very hard. The sending side that sends the full shulker boxes is also pretty easy. All we have to do is basically build an intersection, but we don't have to worry about the other side. We're just going to do one water stream with the redstone. So I've gone ahead and installed an intersection. This is the exact same redstone that we've been using right here, the exact same stuff. So once you have that in place, the water would flow out in this direction towards where your soul sand is going to be lifting up your shulker box up to your farm. So you can have your soul sand as close as this, just 1 block away from where your piston is lifting up the ice, and you'd have a button right there, and then your ice or your water would be going up right here. Now, if you're going to do that, the repeater right here would need to go up onto this block just like that, which is the only difference between that design and this design. But you could have it this close. If you have this soul sand out further because it's more convenient, then you don't need to worry about that. It'll work just fine. But nonetheless, since this is the different part, we'll go ahead and go with this. Let's go ahead and go like this. We would just build this all the way up here, just like so. You can bring this all the way up as high as you need to. Then you would just fill this in with water like this. Then once you have that all filled up with water, then it would go ahead and bring that up. And then all you need to do is figure out how to power this piston. And if you need to go ahead and make this a solid block to make it to where you can power this block to get the power to go to that piston, wherever that comes from your farm, you need to go ahead and have this call for a shulker box bone meal by powering this block and powering this repeater, which will send that signal back to the bone meal farm to send your farm more bone meal. And then once you have these in place and your farm in place, it'll be pretty obvious as to where your pipes need to go pretty much to land your shulker boxes. The return station's right here. I show you guys in the tutorials of all my farms where your shulker box return water stream is. So you need to hook that up to here. And I also show you where your shulker box input is, and you need to hook that up to this water stream. So as long as you hook that up, this will go ahead and support your farm indefinitely with bone meal until your main storage is out there in the middle. Where that main storage will supply all of your farms out in the field all with bone meal. And if the farm you're building happens to be at the end of the water stream, then you do not need an intersection. All you need to do is put some soul sand right here and build a water pipe going on up to wherever your farm is, and make sure to power the redstone line and add repeaters as needed. If you don't know where your repeaters are needed, it's pretty easy. If you power a redstone line, you'll see that it eventually fades out and it eventually dies. Wherever it dies, you're going to need yourself another repeater to carry the redstone signal on all the way. And that's pretty much all you need to know about hooking up your farms. You're either going to need an intersection or the end of a waterway to go ahead and hook up your farm. And now we need to go ahead and talk about what type of farm we're going to be hooking up to this. Now, we're not going to be hooking this up just to one farm. That's not the point. We want to hook this up to multiple farms, and those farms need to be superior or super farms. Superior farms is a playlist that I have on my channel, and I'll leave a link to that playlist up in the top right-hand corner. However, those farms, the original designs, will not work with this superior farming district. This superior farming district gives out shulker boxes of bone blocks, and that's 9 times denser than bone meal, which is what the superior farm playlist gets. Every superior farm will need to be converted to take bone blocks and convert them into bone meal. And for those of you that are experienced, you guys can go ahead and figure that out on your own. And for those of you that aren't so experienced and you guys need a tutorial on that, I'll be making a whole new playlist of super farms that do take bone blocks. So I'll leave a link to that tutorial up there in the top right hand corner too. Both of those links will also be down in the description. So again, the superior farms are for the bone meal farms that need to be converted, and the super farms are the ones that take bone blocks originally. I don't currently have any of those tutorials, but I'll be adding tutorials to that in the near future. And just look at how cool this thing looks from above. Your friends are going to see this and think you're crazy, and they're going to be super jealous that they don't have one of these. Now, the biggest difference between the super tutorials and the superior tutorials that I have on my channel is the superior tutorials were not done in an industrial district like this. They were done off in the distance where I don't really show you how to hook it up to this. I just kind of left that up to you guys. Here on the super tutorials, I'm going to be hooking up directly to this moss farm, so that way we have endless bone meal, and you'll get to see how we actually do it. And then once you have all this completed, next we need to go ahead and go over here and test our whole farm out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to one of these barrels. I'm just going to put an empty shulker box in here. That's perfectly fine. That should go all the way down to that dropper. I'm going to come over here to the station that we made right here. I'm going to put a lever on this block, and we should be able to hit this, and our shulker box should end up in my inventory right here. So let's see. There's our shulker box. It's coming down the water stream. We should be able to see it come right down into here. It's going to come on up, and there it is in my inventory. Once we get it, we can turn that off, and all the water streams should go back to normal. Then if we threw it back into here, this is very important. We need to make sure that the empty shulker boxes go back to the system. Now, we don't have any empty shulker boxes in our system, so when this goes in, it's going to be the first one in the system, and it's going to get dispensed. So that's going to go up and around, all the way around up here. It's going to go all the way up there, and in our shulker box, it's going to go ahead and dispense a shulker box right there, and now they can get started getting filled with bone meal, or bone blocks rather. And all of these barrels right here, all of these need to be filled up with shulker boxes too, just empty shulker boxes. That way you have more shulker boxes to fill up with bone meal or bone blocks. I keep saying bone meal, but I mean bone blocks. This farm does produce bone blocks. And it's important that we're using bone blocks because this storage system, if we didn't use bone blocks, would be 9 times less dense, which with all these hoppers and barrels, that'd be like over 100 barrels. That's too much. And now that you've seen the whole tutorial, I've come back to the mock-up now since we have a farm that's hooked up to our water stream. And as you can see here, at the end of the water stream, all I had to do was kind of make it work. I just made the shulker box go into where it needed to go into, and I made the downspout come down where it needed to, and it went right into the water stream just like that. And then I hooked up the redstone from the farm that went all the way back. I hooked it up with slime blocks coming down because we had quite a far distance to come down. So on every tutorial, though, I'll be showing you where this redstone is, and how to get it down into this water line and into the redstone line that we have here. And as I stated earlier, that'll be the new super farm tutorial, because the superior farms use bone meal, not bone blocks. And as you can see, this tutorial here is my superior bamboo farm. However, for this tutorial, I've actually gone ahead and revamped it. I've got an auto crafter right there that does take bone blocks and it turns them into bone meal and sends them into the farm. So I've actually done that kind of off camera to make sure that this would actually work. And so if you guys want to be creative and figure out ways to do that your own, you guys can do that. If not, you guys can wait for the tutorials where I'll be showing you how to rebuild these farms into super farms where they all convert bone blocks into bone meal and hook up to the superior farming district. And I can't even begin to tell you guys how excited I am to get started on all those tutorials. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And if you guys did, then be sure to smack that like button for me. And subscribe if you guys are new. I am Broken Bones, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next tutorial. Take it easy, everybody. And thanks so much for watching. I know this is kind of a long one.